Hi, my name is Frida Weisel, and today on the subject of Hasidic life for my blog, here is the saga of the Chimes Music Academy in Hasidic Williamsburg and its recent controversy. Before we begin, I want to tell you that women in the Hasidic community have a very different life than men, and they are not allowed to sing in front of men. Therefore, the music industry in the Hasidic community is largely male. And there has been a ton of music, but recently someone's come up with Chimes Music Academy. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to imagination, and life to everything. This little brochure talks about a new voice in Brooklyn that's emitting a sound of self-expression. This strikes me as a very woman's thing. It sounds a lot like a yearbook would look in the women's schools, not religious oriented, very touchy-feely, a safe space where women and teens can come learn music and surround themselves with song and smiles. So they offer piano lessons, guitar lessons, violin lessons, harp lessons, flute lessons, vocals, and they also have weekly kumsitz, which is a weekly get-together for singing and playing music, a Tuesday morning coffee kumsitz, a once a month kumsitz, and a Sunday evening. So these are opportunities for the women to get together and sing and practice their instruments and have a nice time together. And they say that the 5 reasons you should be joining is because it makes you smarter and it improves your social life, it relieves stress, it gives you a sense of achievement, and it builds confidence. And it's very noteworthy, I mean, very natural that this shouldn't have any religious aspects to it, because there's generally, especially for women, a sort of a duality in their education and in their lives. One that is the fancy, the English world of poetry and singing and fashion and shopping, and on the other hand, there is the religious realm. And you know, something like this wouldn't be framed in spiritual terms. That would be stepping out of line for what I think for what this kind of thing could be. But as it is, it excited the response of some zealot rabbis who decided that this venture was unacceptable. Now, the thing about them being so tied up in their underpants, tied up in knots, the expression, whatever it is, the thing about them being so upset about this is that the culture of singing and get together and kumsitz has been longstanding with men. I have not even been able to follow the music industry in the Hasidic community with men, which has been huge because men sing at weddings. Men are the ones who produce the music. And then there's this whole sort of subculture of male get-togethers. And for some reason, Shloimeh Tosig, this is what I found when I spent 5 seconds looking. This is a sukkah on sukkahs. There's another Hasidic singer. I know who he is. No, we're not going to see an ad. So despite the fact that the men are already singing and they're already doing these things, and it has largely sort of slipped under the radar or been institutionalized in the community, the women doing likewise has really created a backlash. And we have this little pamphlet from these 2 zealous rabbis. First, there's Menashe Philip, who's very sternly warning against the new is forbidden according to the Torah. If it was not done by our mothers and our grandmothers, by pious Jews, there was no such thing, then this alone that we are innovating and inventing, this alone is a problem. So he's saying that the fact that it is something new is a problem. And the thing is, this community is very selective. The pious leaders pick and choose when the new is forbidden by the Torah, according to what they see is a threat to the self-preservation of their way of life. So there's sort of a intuitive feel for what ticks them off and what is completely innovative. There's a constant innovation that goes on and is okay. And this is what's so astonishing, is that there's so much innovation in the male sphere that has been completely normalized over the years. And here he goes on about this being a Gentile thing, music, and it's forbidden especially with women. And he makes it into a whole tragedy of assimilation, a risk of assimilation if women were to partake in this. And he also talks about the fact that women are not allowed to be heard singing. So even if this music studio has complete soundproof walls and is completely insulated, he's using this religious religious halakha, this law, in order to ground his argument in it. And he talks about the destruction of the temple. It's again a collage of different things. He came to the table, this rabbi came to the table feeling repulsed by women getting together and singing, and he puts together all these legal arguments to support why it should be banned. And then there's the other one, Yeshia Usher Anschelweiss, who's really something, and goes on about, first he concedes that there are several years that this has been instituted with men, this kind of thing, a kumsitz, where you get together and you spend time, you while away your time, and you sing and you drink and other inappropriate, impious things. And he goes on to say that this whole thing is just a Gentile thing that is unacceptable. Simply the whole thought, we know the life of the Gentile is empty and it's very unrefined. He doesn't have any purpose in life, doesn't have any piety, any seriousness. His whole life is just eating and drinking and enjoying and having fun with silly things without any meaning. Well, the Gentile really doesn't have any purpose in life. The whole thing is like a stupid animal. You have to understand that the role of the people who write this is they are the zealots in the community. They are very pious people. They don't comprise the popular opinion. But of course, they have a tremendous influence, as we'll see in a bit. So he goes on to say that, on the other hand, while the Gentiles live meaningless lives, Jewish children are the chosen people, and Jewishness and piety gives meaning to the Jew, gives a life to the Jew, and a Jewish woman needs to find this meaning in her home, with cooking and baking, with preparing her house, with teaching her children. This is the purpose of a Jew. A Jewish home is like a temple, and the work that a Jewish mother has to be pious and serious, even all earthly things that you do in life. To get together for the sake of just whiling away time, this was made for a Gentile, which doesn't have anything else to do with his life, who just lives like an animal and a cow or something. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. If this was me, I had the music academy and this happened to me, I would not be able to swallow it. I would not be able to live it down. So these rabbis intimidated the Kumsitz women, so that they had this ad in the paper that they were going to get together for prayer, singing for women, and they were going to do their Kumsitz thing, and they conceded by putting a new ad in the newspaper, in a publication, saying, "In the name of the rabbis, we are canceling our Hanukkah Kumsitz." and we apologize for the last minute cancellation. So these women obviously conceded in order to save their business, because they were hoping to still probably teach instruments, and maybe the women getting together part, they'll have to turn back a little bit in order to fly under the radar until the tension, the heat relieves off of them. I've seen over the years this push-pull, this tension between piety and innovation all the time, and sometimes piety wins out and sometimes innovation wins out. Unfortunately, what I've seen when it comes to the women's realm, much more often they don't have that kind of progress, or they don't have that kind of opportunity creation as the men do. And I perceive this to create kind of a gender gap, which who knows where this is going to lead. It's definitely something that I am watching. But yeah, this is a very interesting part of what I see this community to be, a little bit like 1950s. Not that I'm familiar enough with the 1950s to speak to it authoritatively, but I feel like there is an element of the men living it up, going out, while the women are stuck in a housewife role. And for me, it's a tough thing to even imagine. Yeah, well, that's about it for today. Please subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.